Hey, Better Together with Maria Menounos fans. It's Mr. Maria Menounos, special guest host for the next 2 episodes where we are going to talk about how to create a New Year plan for you. It's the new year, right? So it's the new you. Everyone else has their New Year's resolutions, and then maybe they fall short of them and they feel bad. And then there's people who think, well, it's impossible to become a new me anyway. Not true. We have a plan that Maria and I have been doing for the last 2 decades that has worked for us to make improvements to set you up for next year to be the best version of yourself and to be a continuing best version of yourself. So that being said, we hope you enjoy this special 2-part episode of Better Together with Maria Menounos.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah. Hey, Better Together with Maria Menounos fans. I've got some bad news for you. It's not Maria Menounos. It's Mr. Maria Menounos. Subbing in for my beautiful and talented wife. It is the holidays after all. And Queenie needs a break. So, you're stuck with me. Part 2 of our how to create a New Year life plan for yourself.
Woo!
Yeah. And as we said in part 1, this is something that Maria and I have been doing for the past 20 years, literally. When her and I met, and we were in this basement of unfinished basement of someone's house, living literally with 2 other guys. We started this, and then when we went into our studio apartment, we continued this practice, and then our first starter home we did, and then on and on and on. But these are things that have worked for us, and the people who work for us, and it's something I love to share. And I think will be really helpful for people who want to improve. And as we always say, at least on this show, if you're not growing, you're dying. And this is a way you can keep growing and feeling better and at a reasonable pace. And I'm really excited for you guys to listen. And more importantly, I hope you can put some of this stuff into action. And I will say, please, in the comments, let us know. Let us know some of your goals, some of your thoughts. If you have practices that you put into place in the new year, let us know, because I'm always open to, improving even on our planning. So yeah, it's a milestone. I always look for milestones to make changes, and I don't think there's any bigger one than the new year milestone.
Agreed.
So, with that, Kelsey Alexander Meyer, I say
let's get into
let's get into part 2 of this. And you guys, please, if this is something you that moves you and that you enjoy, please, over at Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Let us know. Make sure you mention that Keven, Kels are really cool, and because Queen Maria, she likes to hear that. We probably like.
She loves it.
Yeah. Well, it keeps us. Well, you know what it does? Actually, it makes it so Maria can have time off, because she would never, when she was doing series, she would never let me do this. And then we did it because we had to. We were in survival mode last year. And by the way, that just on that note, and I'll talk about it a little bit, we did not do this New Year plan that I'm expressing to you guys. We didn't do it last year because we were in survival mode. Mom was moving on. And it was the pandemic, and it was just enough to keep everyone alive. And you may be in that place too, and that's okay, because survival comes first. And this is maybe something you can do next year. So anyway, that being said,
let's get into
Maria
it.
Feels a lot. It's helped that we've been able to do the show, but because of you guys supporting us, makes her breathe and have less anxiety, and so she can go do other things that she needs to do for herself. So that being said, let's get things going. And probably, Kels, just a reminder, final reminder that while a lot of the other podcasts and shows will be on break over this holiday season, we will not be. We will be if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, or if you're watching us, then go over to Apple Podcasts, because we are going to bring you fresh Christmas content all throughout the holidays. Kelsey, Pooja, and myself We'll be going over, we may even have some special guests. We'll be talking about how we're celebrating, what we're doing to celebrate, what's going on. And just because we know that this is the time of year that, unfortunately, a lot of people get very depressed. A lot of people, sadly, even take their lives. And just we're here with you. We're here. It's easy for us. It's a half hour a day. We the three of us we love each other, so we'll have a great conversation, and we'll do our best to bring you something to get your mind off things, or just keep you in the spirit, or help boost your spirit. And so, in return, if you have friends that love podcasts, and let's say their favorite podcast on hiatus, then we ask you to tell them about us and give us a shot. So that being said, Kelsey Alexandra Meyer, Pujaneer, Puja's no middle name like me. Let's go into, as we say in Boston, part 2.
Oh my God, let's do it.
How to create a New Year plan. Let's do it. All right, let's. Okay, so we're in the process, right? We're doing all our organizing, cleaning. Okay. Now we're going to move into the second part of this, which is the official year-end meeting / creating our life / business plan for the upcoming year. And earlier on in the last episode, I had you guys, as you were cleaning, as you were reorganizing your lives over the break, I asked you to consider, what are some of the things you want to improve in your life in terms of health, career, and social life? What is your long-term goal, or a couple of your long-term goals, and then what are some of your short-term goals? And that's where we're going to put this into action. Okay. Another thing that I like to do, and before I get into my creating my plan, is I like to think of what is one word that can sum up what I want to improve upon in the upcoming year. So I remember last year, the year before. I mean, I feel like last year, because of pandemic and just all the brain tumors and unfortunately my life and the death, I didn't really have a plan. It was the first year I didn't do one because I was literally just in survival mode. And if you are just in survival mode too and don't have time to do anything that we talked about in part 1 or in this part, believe me, you have my full empathy and support, because sometimes in life you just have to survive. You just have to hang in. And that was me last year and Maria in our family. But the year before, I believe the word I came up with was upgrade. I decided that I needed to upgrade my life. And it was, and top to bottom, my career, how I was dressing, what I was eating, I just said, I want to upgrade. And so I just had that word. And I've had other words, that I've used. I want to be empathetic. For me, it was probably being less judgmental. But having that one word that you can think about, that's your word, you can keep that in the back of your head. As you're making your choices in the following year, you can keep calling back to that word. Am I living up to this? Am I upgrading? And remember, as we said in episode 1, you just have to be a little better than you were the year before. Now, I know this one famous doctor out here that is in his 70s and no cliche, looks probably about 52 or 53. And his secret is that every year he reduces or unhealthy things by 10%. So 10% less caffeine, 10% less fat, 10% less alcohol in his diet, for example. Even 10% less time in front of the TV or whatever it is. It's very interesting. It's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a great tip. And it goes back to what we said in the first episode, you guys. This is like one of the best doctors in the world. And he's talking 10%. He's not talking 50%.
No.
10%.
Just 10%.
It's doable.
It's doable.
Wow.
But even if it's 5%, guys, and remember the goal with all of this is just if you're just a little better than you were the year before, you're winning. You're winning. We're moving. We're moving we're moving ahead.
Kev, question.
Yes, dear.
Because you know what I'm thinking? Did we talk about, I feel like we have to carve out room for reflection as well,
yes.
right?
Okay, that's going to come in daily routine. But thank you for reminding me that.
You're welcome. Well, because I'm just sitting here thinking,
it's part of the plan.
Yeah, sometimes I don't really realize what I've done.
Well, okay, so that there's a whole scam with that.
Love that.
Which but thank you for keeping me on point because I might have forgotten it.
I like scams.
Listen, life could very well be the greatest scam of all. We don't know. I say it all the time. Life could be an intricate series of scams, but also could just be the greatest scam of all. I digress. I'm getting a little Regular Guy Friday on you.
So
we don't do this is why Regular Guy Friday is not on video. You'll have to check us out in audio. Go over to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
And you know what else? You can say, hey, Maria, thanks for RGF. Just if you want. And thanks for Keven, Kelsey, and RGF.
Just if you want.
Just saying.
Just an idea.
Okay. I'll tell you guys, Maria and I, for the past 2 decades, Christmas week, after we're done organizing, cleaning our house, which is usually, it started to be a 3 or 4 day process when, we weren't doing it consistently. And then it gradually just became, a couple of days, a day. And literally now it's just a few hours because we are so organized from the years before. And we do such maintenance, cleaning, and organization throughout the year that it's no big deal. But the one thing that we consistently have done, except for last year, because we were in survival mode, is we go to the food court at the mall. And we go there very early. And it was the Burlington Mall in Burlington, Massachusetts. Many, many moons ago, Maria and I did our first one. And we go with big, we bring notebooks, but I also like the big notebooks that have no lines. So just big open white sheets of paper. And I bring markers and pens and this and that. And we get to work. And all those questions that I asked you to ask yourself during your cleanup and some of your mindless work, those are questions Maria and I would ponder. And the more of those questions you ponder leading up to this meeting, the more effective the meeting is going to be and the faster the meeting will be. But when I say Maria and I, it's minimum 4 or 5 hours. Generally, it's 8 or 9 hours that we sit there together and we figure stuff out. And it's something that we did, like I said, 20 years ago. And then it was the Burlington Mall. And then I think it was the Glendale Galleria in Glendale.
The best.
And then it was, I forget where, it probably was Glendale for a minute. And now we go to the Topanga Canyon one in Woodland Hills. And maybe we might change it up this year and go to another one. But, and by the way, our staffs would come with us. And I'm sure Kelsey and Pooja will be part of it with us this year. But we basically lay it all out on the table, And so I think the best way to start is, what is that long-term goal or long-term goals? And, I'd like to keep it to 1 or 2, and it'll make your life a lot easier if you do. So, for example, with Maria, it was, I want to have my own talk show. Well, we both thought a talk show would be the best thing for her, and now we have one. But back then we didn't. So that was our long-term goal, and that would go in the right column. And by the way, I want to give credit. This system, this is Maria's system. She wrote about it in her first book. This is not a Keven Undergaro system, so it's like legit. It's Maria. Wow. It's not a scam. So in the right column, it is, I want to be a talk show host. So now we have that in the right column. Now the left column is, I said, to start thinking about all your short-term goals, all the other things you want to accomplish. And you can write them all down in that left-hand column. And by the way, no wrong answers. I don't care if it's like, I want to get married. I want to go to the Grand Canyon. Okay, we write them all down. And then what we do is we step back and we look at everything in that left column, all those short-term goals, and we say, okay, does the trip to the Grand Canyon get me to hosting a talk show? Geez, I don't know. Well, I guess today you would maybe say, well, we could take a lot of pictures there. We could record it. Maybe. Okay, so it'd be kind of maybe, but not as important as, say, I want to build my own website. Well, building a website get us to the talk show. Yeah. Okay, so that goes higher up on the list. Then there might be something like, I want to study ballroom dancing. Well, there's only so many hours in the day, and we've got this probably not going to get you to that long-term goal, and that may have to go in the freezer for, later in life. But this is one thing that, we do. Now, if you're somebody that, maybe your long-term goals is just, I want fulfillment. I want happiness. Well, then guess what? That ballroom dancing class might be just the thing you need. Does this make sense, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Because that's why it's good for you, Kelsey, because you love doing everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
right?
I need to do this for myself. I think that, that's another cool thing, you guys, and Kevin's talking about it. Do it for your business, but also do it for you. It's like, we're going to do this on Friday, but...
Well, there might be two different things. Like, let's say you have a business. Well, I think that's we're going to do it.
Completely different.
There's something for Better Together, but then there's something for Maria individually.
Right.
And by the way, I'll confess something right now. I've never done this for myself.
Kevin.
No.
You got to. Because that's what I'm thinking about. I was thinking about, wow, okay, I want to do 1,000,001 things, and I honestly probably could, but I would probably die doing them because I would.
Well, what happens is psychologically speaking, it weighs you down. It weighs your brain down. Oh, I wanted to do that. I'll never get around to it. I want to do that. Never get around to it. I want to do that. Never get around. Oh, I'm never going to get anything done. No. Now you free yourself and go, no, that's out.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's out for this year. For 22, we're not taking the dance lessons. It's out. Okay.
And just this year.
But now you breathe. Now you breathe and you don't worry. Like, okay, that's it. You're not accomplishing something.
Right. You don't feel like a failure. Yeah.
Right.
I love this. Kevin's going to do it for himself and report back, everybody.
Yes, maybe for the first time I will. But you also look at health, career, and social.
So you do you do different?
Well, what I was that once you have that long term thing, you've got all that down, right? But then take a look at your health. Are there improvements, or changes, or adjustments you want to do in your health? So you have to write down what those things are, and then think about, well, how can I do it? And I love the 10% plan. Okay, I will commit to doing 10%. Less alcohol, 10% less tobacco, 10%, less sugar, whatever it's going to be. I don't know. Or it's 10% more exercise, whatever. And we're going to lead to one of the last things, which is really the hardest thing to do, is when you create a daily routine.
I have another question.
Yes, honey. So
what about for those people who aren't 100% sure what their long-term goal is? What do you say to them?
Well, then I think you can be more generic.
Okay.
Maybe your long-term goal is, so you know what it would be for them? Because I think we're all going toward career when we hear that, right?
Right, yes.
Your long-term goal could be, and guys, it's okay. I have friends who will say to me all the time, like, Kev, good for you for loving to work and earn and achieve and accomplish. My goal is to be the best freaking dad. okay, like we really won't have a better world if we have more people who want to be a better dad or a better mom. Great. And that might be your long-term goal. That's fine. But if maybe your long-term goal is to discover what it is you want to do, then that's your long-term goal. And then all those short-term goals should be toward figuring out what that is going to be.
Yeah.
And it might be testing a lot of things. It might be therapy. And that's why, but again, that goes to your foundation. So your physical foundation, I'm glad we're going here because we talked about in episode 1, fixing your physical foundation. But what I should have said in episode 1, and I'm saying now, is I want you to think about your emotional foundation. Your physical foundation, yes, clean, organized, everything. And then obviously your body, have it at optimal capacity. I am going to tell you that to achieve any lofty goal, you're going to have to redline. That's what we call it in this family. And you may have to make some compromises on your health. You might be going without sleep. You might not be eating as great as you need to be. But if you want to make it, unfortunately, sometimes those are the sacrifices you have to make. But over time, it'll catch up to you. But the idea is to get where you need to be and then make those adjustments. But I will say your emotional foundation is a huge one. And if you're crippled by anxiety, okay, then, part of those short-term goals on the left side, like if you're crippled by anxiety, it's going to be so hard to achieve that long-term goal. But by the way, your long-term goal might be to be like, I'm going to beat the anxiety thing. Okay, great. So then what are we going to do? What therapies? How are we really going to lean into this? And I think that as you're doing mindless work and reorganizing, you're also thinking of like, what are the toxicities in my life? I think a word many of you should adapt. Upgrade is a great word, but I think another word many of you should adapt is awareness. Aware. And by the way, some people might be gratitude's another great one. You always go back to that because we all have a lot to be grateful for, but awareness. And we are better together. Kelsey and I talk about this on air and off a lot is when I have, come in as the backup quarterback to interview all the great people that come on the show. The one consistent thing they all have, whether it's the most successful actor, successful director, successful business person, successful author, successful healer, we have some we have the highest vibrating people usually come on this show, except when I stop working with my friends. But one thing they all have in common that we regular guys and gals don't have, but can have, is they have this acute awareness that I never had. And I'm gaining, but I never had it. And I'm trying to impart it as much as I can on Kelsey and Pooja and other people who work for me at AfterBuzz, because I see the benefits. I see why all of these people are so successful. And I think that's the one key thing. They all work hard. They're all smart. And then awareness. They're very aware of what's going on. They're aware what's going on around them. They're aware what's going on in their bodies. They're aware of who are the people that are nourishing them, and then who are the people that are, sucking them dry, draining them, upsetting them. There's an acute awareness, and most of us don't employ that. 99% of us don't employ that. And what do? We just power through. Oh, well, we rationalize, or we consume, or we give into addictions, or whatever, or we sweep under the rug. But this is a real big one, and it's a tough one. But I would love to see you go into this new year and just be like, hey, be aware, like when you hang up that phone, or you receive that text, and you don't feel right. You're obviously in a bad mood, or you're cranky, or you're stressed out. Maybe that's someone less they're writing you a fat check, and even then within reason. I don't know. don't know if they need to be around anymore, or you work with people, therapists, or you listen to this show or other shows, and you come up with coping tools and mechanisms and ways to divert that kind of energy. But that's such a big deal, Kelsey.
Massive. I think, Kev, one thing that's helped me is like obviously the show, but like when I try and practice the awareness, it's, I think awareness and mindfulness go hand in hand, right?
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
So one thing that's helped me a lot is I'm always okay, I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do
Yeah.
And then you have no time to be mindful.
Well, that's what it was, and your stomach was getting worse and worse.
Yep.
And you weren't,
my body
and then
was
you
screaming at me.
and you just keep going and going and going, and just FOMO and this and that, and not focus, control.
Exactly. And I think a lot of our Heal Squad is like that too. It's like a lot of us just to ignore the pain, to ignore anything else, just like keep working, keep going, keep this, keep that.
And you've had so much pain, and this is where I'm so empathetic. Please, everybody, I am very bruised, very flawed. I'm not like I see Tony Robbins, and you literally he's beaming like he's a Superman. This guy's 6'6", and he's but behind the scenes, I know that I'm sure he's dented and bruised too, and he probably would tell you the same thing, but I can't say that. I will say for myself, I am. And so I understand where someone out there may say, God, life is so freaking hard, and I'm so freaking tired. I just want these 4 days, just these 4 days over the holidays or whatever, if I'm lucky enough even to get them. I just want to fuck off. And I get it. And unfortunately, and this has been a problem even with Maria's career, and a lot of celebrities who come to me for help with their careers. I'm like, the unfortunate thing is, I know you're banged up. I know you're sad, or you're tired, or you're depressed, or all the above. The bad news the good news is we can get by it. The bad news is I'm going to ask you to work harder. And I know that sucks. So with Kelsey, it would be more fun to go and hang with friends and drink wine, or go here, or go visit this one, or drive 3 hours to go see it. I get it.
Yeah.
Because you're already tired and you're in a lot of pain. But I'm like, but if you can just circle the wagons and sacrifice and cut a little more, I promise, you'll ascend. Things will get better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The beer tastes better when, Kelsey?
When you drink it less.
Yes.
It's true.
It really does.
It really
guys.
does.
And I tell you, we had a little Christmas gathering at the house, and I haven't drank like that in years, and it was delicious.
I know.
It was wonderful.
Well, I was right there with you. I had a nice big glass of wine. And
it was nice, right?
And I haven't had one in so long.
But when you're having those all the time.
Exactly.
So.
Not as good.
But I'm very empathetic. I understand where you're exhausted and you don't think you have any more to give.
Yeah.
But I promise, if you can take control of what you can control, which is cleaning up your physical and emotional foundations, you will get more strength.
Yeah.
And over time, then you're going to get a ton of strength, and it's going to be great. But I understand.
Well, I think it's, Kev, you talk about this too. It's like making choices for things that serve you and that don't serve you, right? Like there were so many things that I was running around doing, and you're like, why are you doing that? That is not helping you in your long term, your short term, anything. You're just doing.
Right.
You're just doing. And that's where the anxiety grows and the awareness diminishes, right? And it's like, but it's being aware of those things.
So I was going to say, whatever these goals are, this chart, this long-term goal, whatever that long-term goal is, put that on your fridge and remember it in your brain.
Yeah.
So as you're making your choices, because remember, those are the things you can control. You can control your choices. You ask yourself, is this going to get me there? Is this choice? Is what I'm putting in my mouth? Is what I'm doing, what I'm watching on TV, what I'm listening to on the radio, whatever it's going to be, is that going to get me to that goal? And we did that, and I will tell you guys, you still can look up and down my life, and most of the things, in one way or another, will get us toward our goal, all the way to our dogs, because I knew we were in for a hard business. I did not want to bring children into this business. It was or into our world, because they were so stressful. I mean, entertainment news, remember, now I'll really spill a lot of tea, Kelsey, but most of those places, they don't get ratings if they don't report on, on horrible, horrible things. So think about the kind of people that want to find that information.
Super cute.
Yeah, gorgeous. Not the highest vibrating people. And so now here's Maria, who doesn't want to do any of that stuff. She just likes, oh my God, I love this movie. I love this TV show. I love your act. And that's why we started AfterBuzz, because we like to celebrate the art. We don't, I don't want to, I don't want to hurt anybody and take anyone down. And Maria, way more than me, is not that. But in that environment, you have a lot of toxicity, but a lot of people have that in the high pressure jobs. I didn't want to bring children around that. So, but I also see double income, no kids, or, people that do really well and don't have children, or they don't have parents that they're close to that they're taking care of, or they're not taking care of anybody. You tend to kind of go into this narcissistic state, which I didn't want, and I didn't want for Maria. So we had the dogs that, all these rescues that kept us okay, they needed us, but also they gave us so much joy and love. Because we were hey, we don't have the energy, the strength, or the money to be going out to expensive dinners or to be going on giant vacations. So we were we would start the Carney vacation, which we would do over Christmas, meaning our Carney vacation would be, we're going to binge watch all these great shows. We're going to just get in our jammies, and we're going to have our comforter, and the babies, our dogs, we call them the babies, but the babies are going to sit with us, and it's going to be amazing. And it didn't cost us any money, and they gave us so much love and joy and de-stressed us. So even they were part of helping us get to where we needed to be.
And quick sidebar, Keven,
yes.
Because Keven introduced me to the Carney vacation, you guys. And let me tell you, I'm the kid who wants to go do 1,000,001 things. The Carney vacation changed my life. It is my favorite thing in the world. Honestly, I try and at least do, my roommate and I both, one day of the weekend, we try and do it, at least for majority of the day.
Shut it down.
And just binge our show. It is so happy.
Right?
If I don't do it now, I feel like I can't properly go into the next week prepared and rested. Anyways, so don't overlook the Carney vacation.
The Carney vacation, baby. Mm-hmm. It's you're not spending money. You're resting. You're recharging. All that stuff. So, and by the way, now listen, some of your short-term goals might be I want to travel, or I want to go visit okay, let's put it down. Put it down on the list. And by the way, it may be that trip that does enrich you to get you where you need to be, or fills your cup. So again, I tend to, I'm in a very high pressure industry. So, and I grew up with that, my dad, that was the Italian father who was listen, work hard, make money, be generous, and help other people. But the more you have, the more you can help other people, and the easier life will be. But that only comes from hard work. So I come from that school. So if you're hearing little 20th century out of me, I apologize. Ultimately, 21st century way is what is going to make you fulfilled and happy. Okay, and that's what the end goal really should be. So please, hopefully you can apply this formula to your life, but remember that's the end, what we should all be striving for. And money and all that really isn't that. For me, the fulfillment is to create things that have, positive impacts. That's what I've learned. That's fulfilling to me. But yeah, so whatever fulfills you. But as we're writing down this whole thing, we're going to put that one phrase on the fridge, and we're going to keep going back to it with all the choices we make. Okay. Interesting thing, and this is kind of getting a little off the subject, but with those choices, remember, that is the one thing you can control. There's so much in this world we can't control. That's the one thing you can. That's the one thing you have ultimate control over. So remember to respond and not react. Very tough. Now remember, let me go back to, this is not only an Italian, but a Boston Italian. So we tend to react.
You and me both.
Gals, you're not. No, you do. You reacted.
I
Yes,
do.
you do.
I do.
Yeah, you become bratty Kelsey, and I become angry Kev.
I try sometimes to swallow it, but I definitely react.
We should join forces.
Yes, we should.
Like we are joined forces, but angry Kev and bratty Kelsey should join forces.
Yeah, they should.
I think we would. Yeah,
we would F some shit up. Yeah,
but
it's so hard.
Respond. Don't react.
Yeah,
and remember, just give reactions. Give responses a moment. Give it a moment. But going back to, when we get back to awareness and mindfulness, what are those phone calls? I mean, there's certain people who text me and my heart races, right? And Kelsey, you shared that with me too, right?
Oh yeah.
You get certain and you're like, oh God, I don't want to,
that, or just like a,
or you're like ugh,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, tough.
But you can control that.
You can control that, and then also, if you respond quickly, you're also sending a message to a person that they kind of have control over you. No, the thing is, I always would respond quickly because I get so many texts and so many emails because of the, businesses I have, that if I don't respond quickly,
it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll forget. Yeah. So that's why I do. But Maria was like saying, no, Kev, like you train everybody. You're like a SEAL. Like they go, hey, I need you for this. And I go, okay. Because I also come from a place of, if you can do a task in under 2 minutes, just do it right now so it doesn't pile up. But other than maybe texting everybody back because you're training everyone to think that you're always going to be available. But that's another little note on organization as you move forward. Anything, like Kelsey, you'll notice anything, whether it's even a light that needs to be fixed in the studio here, if I can do it in under 2 minutes, I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't go, I'll get that on Saturday. No, just do it. Boom.
Right. The other thing Kev does, this is also going kind of aside, but the other thing he does with organization is he labels everything. So it's like if you're storing something and you're just putting it in a box, like you're going to see that box and not open it, be too lazy to open it, forget what it is, buy it again. He labels everything.
Yes.
So even, it was funny yesterday, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the leaves and the lemons are gone behind Kev. We're doing a nice little clean look, something for the new year. But anyways, Joe and I were taking those down and he was like, why are you labeling the trash bags? You can literally see in them. And I said, have you met Keven? Joe, have you met Keven?
Okay, so really, on a side note, guys, when going back to part one for our organization, I'm glad you brought this up. One of my best, a person who likes to organize, best friends and most underrated tools, Ziploc bags.
Kev's favorite.
And may I add, not any kind of Ziploc bags, freezer Ziploc bags, because they're a little stronger. And they even have labels. They have places to label. You write with a permanent marker. And me, because, I'm so crazy, I'll write whatever I'm going to store in that bag on the little label part, but then I'll slap a piece of clear packing tape over it so the label can never be scratched off. And when I say I have some of these bags, are you guys 10 years old, that will be like iPhone cords or Android cables, sticky notes, so I'll, in my junk drawer, I will have those. The other thing is, Target, Walmart, and I think those are my favorite places for drawer organizers. So there's little plastic.
Container store too.
Yes. And I tend to like plastic guys because let's say if it's whiteout or glue, or even if it's moisturizers or things like that are going to leak or whatever, you're fine. But all of my drawers have those inside and everything goes back in. But yes, labeling is a really big deal. And again, I'm sorry, this is first episode stuff, but when you are organizing, remember there's two kinds of storage. There's short-term storage and long-term storage. So long-term storage is Christmas decorations. They come out once a year. Okay. So they can go in a place that might be a little hard to get at. But the short-term storage stuff is stuff that I'm going to frequently need to be able to get to. So another mistake I made when I was younger is I would, I'd put short-term storage stuff like really high up in an attic or far away or like on the highest possible shelf. Now I really can't get to it. So, and I'll tell you, the other thing is when you do, you guys will be surprised too, when you do a year-end cleanup and organization of every part of your life, you'll be surprised at what you find. Like, oh, I didn't know I had this. I didn't know I had this. I didn't know I had this. So
I'm excited to do mine.
But yeah, Ziploc bags and labeling.
Bags.
And labeling.
Okay, and then my other thing I was
and by the way, when it comes to labeling, if you have totes like the plastic totes, I will write the label on a piece of tape. And so I can rip that tape off and put another piece of tape over it and recycle the bin for something else. So
brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know about brilliant, but this is how regular guys and girls live. Although we are embedded together with Maria Menounos. Just a reminder, this is not a regular Guy Friday.
Yes.
Anyway, continue, Kelsey.
Oh no! Now I'm going back. I'm jumping around here. I'm going back to the reacting, that you can respond, not react.
Yes.
Because I'm not kidding you. In the car this morning, this is funny. We're talking about this. I had called my mom because I was like so annoyed about something, and I was like, "How do I?" Because she always says that to me. She's like, "Because I've been bratty Kelsey since I was born," and so she'll always be like,
and
Kelsey,
she's let you.
And, to a degree. To a degree.
Because, you know you can do it and get away with her, but now it's on you to go, that's not right. That's not nice to your mom.
But she also was the one who would be like, she would just shut down and be like, bye.
Bye, B.
Bye, B. So she's always respond, not react. And so we were talking about, I was like, how do I do that though? And it's funny because I know you've watched this show, Kev, and Maid, when the girl closes her eyes and is mindful and goes to that happy place when she gets like really mad before she responds to something. Mm-hmm. Remember that scene? And so now I've been trying to do that, you guys. So it's like, I'll get really angry or like frustrated. And I'm like, before I say something, I'm like, okay, I close my eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm walking on the beach. I'm doing, and it actually really helps. So just a little tidbit, stole that from Maid, but.
Well, and then you can also, there's a technique we use in this house.
Yes.
Especially when you feel so like, your back's against the wall, you're totally screwed, and you just really want to snap. We go to comedy
must rule.
Comedy must rule.
Yeah.
CMR.
That's a good one.
Meaning like, okay, how do I just make fun? Like Kelsey, how many times like we deal with vampires, and at some point we just go the other way with it. And rather than we should be so angry and so offended.
We just laugh.
We just start laughing. Yeah. And then we just start like, and making fun out of it.
Yeah.
And leaning into it even. Mm-hmm. Okay, get him on the phone. No, let's get her on the phone. Let's actually like let this insane person be insane with us and on speaker and let's just like have fun with it because we have to deal with this. So why not like laugh about it?
Yeah.
But I will say, even though we go to the food court, for us, it's fun because we like to, when we do the year-end plan, the food there's fun. It's always fun foods, and and then after we get a little bit of lunch, it's like then there's snacks, and then we can have some coffee or tea or whatever it is. So we liked it for that reason. But as you know from the show, that when I think it's good for the actual work. But when you're trying to figure out what the long-term goal is and what are some of the changes you want to make, we know from this show that going out to nature is always where the answers will come. Whether it's a hike or just sitting out in the woods or putting your feet in the ocean water or walking along the sand. And again, that's that awareness and that mindfulness, so things kind of quiet down, you get connected with nature, and then that's when some of the answers start coming in to prepare you for the meeting. But if you notice, everything I've said, you don't have to be a millionaire to do anything that I said on this. And that's why I like this plan. And that's why it worked for us for Marie and I, when we had nothing. And it still works to this day.
I love it. I'm excited.
Well, what I do with that plan, and this is fun, is I put it in an envelope and seal it and write the date on it.
Oh, that is fun.
And so what you do is now you'll bring it to the next meeting and you open it.
That's cute.
And it's fun. And you get to see what you were able to accomplish and what not. And I will promise, listen, even if you accomplish like 10% of that list, that's better than where you were the year before. And most likely, you guys, we're lucky if we accomplish half of what we want to accomplish. But the half is really cool. And furthermore, because our foundation is as solid as it can be, or we try to make it like that, new things end up happening. So we didn't get to do this one project or this one goal, but guess what? We were able to do this over here because life got in the way. And then this other thing came up. I go, okay. So it's kind of fun to do that. The last part of the exercise, and to me, this is the hardest. It's hard for me personally. So maybe it's not hard for you guys, but it's the hardest one for me personally. And again, I see the most successful people come on this show do it. I don't. Is creating a routine. And that is tough, but this is the time to do it. What does my Sunday look like? What's my Saturday look like? What's my morning look like? I know, but if you write it out, I'm going to exercise or I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to, even if it's like, I always go to Lala Kent because I loved it. She does her morning intentions, right? No.
Gratitude's at night. I think it is morning intentions and then the grateful list at night.
And is
that wrong?
I don't know. But either way, there's a gratitude list.
Mm-hmm.
So in the evening, you do gratitude or intentions, whatever works for you. And in the morning, you do the
morning intentions and evening reflections. Was that it?
I don't know.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. And thank you, Pooja. And I think, so it's kind of nice because I like the idea of the gratitude at the end of the night because you can put yourself into a great, nice state of sleep. Like, I'm grateful. Great. Have good sleep. Then you wake up. Okay, these are my intentions, my goals for the day. And again, it's hitting it's hitting singles. So when you write down that list, and listen, by the way, it might be like, today I'm going to pay that bill. I'm going to, I don't know, like my truck forever, it was recalled literally 5 years ago. Ford just keeps kidding me saying, are you ever going to bring
Hello?
And they'll say, oh my God. And then they send me pictures of like people who've been in accidents, like how horrible they look. And so finally I went and did that. But see, I would write that on my list, going to drop truck off at Ford. So
it's huge.
It's big because you feel, okay, little victory.
Yep.
Got now that one little brick I was carrying in my backpack, that's gone. But
bye B.
So those morning intentions, that might be in your schedule. Maria, I know she's been doing yoga nidra.
Yep.
So
and she's big on her gratitude.
And it doesn't have to be yes, and she prays. Maria goes over to her little place. She's got a little place on the fireplace mantle. It's so cute. She goes over there and it's like, shh, Kevin, praying. So yeah, so the Netflix has to go off, and but. It's not even what I think about a great routine is it doesn't have to be, okay, Monday through Friday, I'm going to do these things. No, maybe it's on a Wednesday morning. I'm going to, okay, so I was, and I guess you're always a writer, but writing is what I've done since I was 7, making films since I was 7. And the last few years, last decade, I just got carried away with business and other parts of our business, which was exciting and fun, and I'm grateful that I learned those things and I diversified. But I want to get back to it. But a lot of the great writers, they'll just write 2 or 3 hours every morning. I was always a binge writer, and just go without sleep and write like 6 days in a row. But it's harder to stay consistent, again, from what I've been told, but I believe it when you operate that way. But the other people who are like, no, 2 hours a day, I'm doing my writing. Other people I know, they make sure they just go on a hike every morning. They do the morning walk, and that's where they have their reflections and their intentions, and they figure stuff out. And they're like, no, I'm not. Nothing's going to block that unless health and well-being of you or your loved ones, fine. Then we can put some of the things to the side. But a daily routine, and
I think it's making it attainable.
Will help. Yes.
It's like my walks, I try and do morning walks, but I'm like, okay, if you can't do 30 minutes, do 8,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, then I'll celebrate that, like the 8 minutes. Or even, who do we have on the show, Kev, who's talked about like writing five pages instead of like 2-hour binge and nope.
Just something.
2.
I love it. Yeah. I'm going to write every morning, but that's what I'm saying. Like creating a routine, like a 7-day week schedule is really helpful. And then, know that you don't know how that schedule is going to work. So there's room to adjust this. You're not a failure if like, oh God, that schedule, we're going to revamp it. that doesn't work. I'm going to do this on another day. Or you know what? That's not working at all. But I'm also adding in therapy. I'm going to add in, or I'm going to add in if there's some there's some master classes or some TED Talks even. No, I'm going to be listening at this time. But yeah, so all of that stuff in that daily routine is going to be super helpful for you. And that takes a minute to do. But I consider everything in that. Everything, not just career stuff.
Yeah, those routines are hard. But I like the writing it out. I think writing it out is extremely helpful. And then not beating yourself up when you don't do it.
And I think, when you do these year-end plans, if you don't have a partner, do it with a best friend. And by the way, because if you're a millennial Gen Z, then obviously your parents are your besties, which is why you're all in the shape you're in. But take the bestie parent out and they can do their deal.
Yeah.
They do their plan and you do yours and you do it together. And this is where you bounce stuff off each other and go, yeah, you know what, maybe not right for me, or maybe that is right. Or do it with your group of friends. It's fun. Now, I put everything in an envelope, I seal it, and it's really fun to open the next year. But you might want to do a vision board. So you can apply this, like we said. I know Lauren LaGrasso, who used to produce this show, she used to have vision board parties where everyone would get together and pull out their, she would have everyone, foam core or, a nice big white piece of styrofoam and markers and magazines, and people would just cut stuff out and draw things in. And, Maria's done them, and it's scary how accurate they are, or the stuff that gets manifested. But you may want to put it in that and then hang that up so you always see it. Just know, though, we went over this, I think, in a Regular Guy Friday episode. Just know that manifesting is only going to go so far. At the end of the day, it's all about action. So even awareness is great, but at some point you have to take action. You got to jump in the pool. You got to get up and do. You have to organize. That's action, right? So, it's you do the vision board or you do these lists. That's great, but you got to take action. It's not enough like I want to buy a house, just put that up there. No, it means you've got to save the money, do the research, find the house, etc. So just know, one of my dearest friends was here at the house over the holidays with us, and everything just kept going back to it. You got to take action. You can't just sit there and everyone around me tells me I'm a loser. So, okay, great. Get up and fight. Get up and take action. Don't knock them all out what are we going to do like in your life to start making, what singles can we hit? What little bites can we take out of that whale to eat the whole whale? But that's action. So you want to, take action, or none of this is going to work. So I always go back to action and knowing whatever is choices we can make that are in our control. We have to make those right choices. And once again, I remind you, I don't always make those right choices, Kelsey.
We try our best.
That's it. You try your best, and you get up and you try again. So
and don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I will tell you, too many people. Some of them, too many people. They're so stuck on, if only I had this. See, I can't do this because of that. They're so stuck on what they don't have and what they can't do. And if you're gonna be like that, then you're going to continue to get that. You know what I mean by that, Kelsey?
Well, you're going to keep attracting that energy.
You're going to keep attracting, and you're going to keep getting less and not getting and not, rather than, okay. And if that's your default, this is where awareness comes in. And I'm yet to meet the person that's aware that they're doing this. It's really sad. It's like I see the people, and there's too many of them. And this, again, I've said this before, but I especially see it in women, where it's I don't have this and I don't have that and I'm not able to do this. And if only I did that, and I made a mistake here and I made a mistake there, and this one has this and this one has that, and I don't have this and I don't have that. But maybe if you're like that, be the first that I've known to have the awareness to go, you know what? I am like that. Now we're halfway there. Now we're halfway to fixing that. I'm like that, and I need to stop that. And so instead of that, you own the positive truth, which is like, I'm here. And what are all the, I bet you for everything you say you don't have, I could point out 10 things you do have. And a lot of things you do have, it's because of the things you don't have. Or the bad things that did happen to you that led to it. I'm sure if I saw your life, I could see that.
And what you becomes.
With action.
But I also think it's like,
but even the people who, they take action, but they have that sentiment in the back of their head, they make poor choices and poor reactions because that's what's in their brain.
Yep.
So if you're one of those people, which I know a lot of people are, man, look in the mirror and go, God, you know what? I do that. And I got to stop because it's scientifically proven that it's not serving you. You know, it is not serving you. And what is it that you can do to fix that? There's therapy, there's subconscious therapies, there's plenty of ways that you can fix that. But I think if you know that that's your problem, and I know it's a lot of people's problem, you're really going to just dump, I don't know, half a bag of the bricks you're carrying. Actually, the whole bag of bricks you're carrying, honestly. And just like I said, if we're just a little better than we were the year before, we're winning the game.
Amen.
We're winning. So.
This was great, Kev. Thank you.
Kelsey Alexander Meyer.
Keven, no middle name, Undergaro.
Pooja, no middle name, Nair.
That's right.
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Queen. This was great, though, Kev. I really appreciate this. I'm going to do this. Well, we're going to do ours, and then I'm going to do this with my family at home as well.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to.
I think
it'd be great for them.
Because you know what? Like, your parents are so active.
Yeah.
And they're down for the cause.
Oh, yeah.
They just need someone to lead them.
Exactly.
And like, what are we doing? Like, let's talk. Like, what is it you want to do and accomplish? Go. And there's no wrong. Like, your goals, there's nothing. None of them going to be wrong.
No. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think this is great.
By the way, I want to run a marathon.
Could be anything.
I want to throw a party. I don't know.
I want to get a dog.
I want to get a doggy, a baby. Pooj, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I'm going to do it with my family too. I love this idea. I've never done anything like this. You know, you have your resolutions. You're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Then you forget about it in like a week. And then, but writing it down and having it on paper and holding yourself to it and having people also hold you to it, I think is so important. Yeah. So I'm also going to do it when I go home.
And it's a wonderful family activity. And for your younger brothers and sisters, Pooch, like, what a good habit to get them in. And for you guys to now have this habit at your age. But even for your parents who are older, like, you know, why not? We can always get better. Maria's dad, always getting better. Always getting better. He's always open to like, all right, I'll try this. Okay. And he wasn't always like that. That's what's really cool. He started around mid-50s, maybe 60, but was very stubborn Greek. And then he hit probably around, it was probably like late 60s, 70s. He was like, okay, all right, I'll try this. Yeah, okay, I'll do this. Okay. And because of it, he functions like a 30-year-old.
And ages backwards.
Right. And you guys, you know, and again, I know we're a vain culture, but let me use the vanity to motivate you. But if you don't want to age, this is the way to do it. Is being in that state of Kaizen, that Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement. No matter how good it is, how do I do it better? But without like a lot of pressure on yourself, because again, there's enough pressure out there. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Kev.
Fun stuff. Anyway, you guys, please, if you could be so kind as to give us a 5-star review over at Apple Podcasts, we would appreciate it. If you have comments or questions, then, you know, that's what YouTube is for, I suppose, Kelsey, right?
Yeah, or Patreon if you want to Join us over there.
Yeah, and on
Leave
Patreon
comments.
and on Patreon too. It's I say again, it's ad-free content, but also bonus episodes. And the biggest thing is our monthly heal events, where we bring in world-class healers to work with us as you as a group and individually as well. It's really enriching.
And let me tell you guys.
Yes.
Great Christmas present. I got it for a friend.
Yeah.
I think I got it for
I'm
a
going to
friend
pull
last
that
year.
scam on somebody.
Yeah, because you can pay. Just pay for
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. It's a
And by the
great
way,
gift.
I don't want to say.
Say it.
No, I'm not going to say.
Oh, come on.
I'll get in trouble.
Okay.
No, we'll save it for Regular Guy Friday.
Okay.
And now, listen, you guys, remember, look forward to, we're going to put up some fresh Christmas content in the weeks leading up to the holidays. We will be with you throughout in some way, shape, or form. I know some of you may have lost family this year like we did. Some of you may not have family around you. Some of you may be away from family. And we want to be the ones that kind of stay with you as best we can. So if you do consume us in audio, that's where it will be, because also I want to make it easy on Kelsey and Pooja as well. So look forward to that.
Yes.
In the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As well.
Yay.
Best time of the year, Kelsey,
That's
Alexander
right.
Meyer, and Pooja Nair. Most fun time of the year. All right, so you guys, I'm excited for everyone's new year, and keep us posted on your plans and the words you're going to use to describe what you want your year to be like, or what your goal is going to be that you're going to put on the fridge, and you're going to remember with those choices that you make. Is it living up to this goal? Is it going to get me there? So boom, done. All right, Kelsey. Again, why do you guys do this better together? I forget.
That's right. God, gotta dust off my muscles here. Okay, you guys, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.